Hey everyone, I'm the guy that makes SpiderHeck, and I thought it's about time I made a video checking in with you about, well, the game. Um, just to run through where I'm at, what are my thoughts, answer some questions, uh, maybe talk about where the game could be going. Also, I might have an announcement to make. Um, yeah, so let's get to it. So, a good place to start off, I thought, would be where I ended on the last video, which was explaining how I got the idea for the spiders with light, particle blades, and local PvP, web swinging, all that, and how that has evolved a little bit since then. On the local PvP side, actually not that much has changed. It's just been a whole lot of refinement and adding more content, like adding more weapons, adding even more weapons, removing all the weapons because suddenly you think you can't manage it all, then adding them back because that was maybe a silly decision. You know, normal development process. Now, another thing that maybe evolved was that over time, a lot of people, well, as I was putting out the test versions, a lot of people gave me the feedback of, hey, it would be really good to have an online version. And I do agree, I would love the game to have online multiplayer. But since I never really planned for it, and this is my first game project, that is kind of scary. And I probably don't want to tackle it. Physics, fast movement, and online just don't mix in a really elegant way. And for a developer that's kind of new to this, it might just be a little too crazy to do. So that is something I stayed away from, but still there was ongoing thing where people that kept asking, well, but I don't have any friends to play with, I really want to try out your game. So eventually what I added was like a little bare bones PvE mode where you fight a wave of wasps, and there were multiple iterations of it, but it always stayed a little kind of bare bones. Now, I never really had that much confidence in the mode initially. I thought it was very like basic, but what kept happening was people kept coming back to me like, I've been playing this for ages, this is very addictive, this is great. And also what happened was a lot of YouTube and Twitch content creators had picked it up and started like at least tried it out a bit. And when I watched them play, it actually looks fun. I know part of that's probably their performance, but still, the game looked fun. And with that, and I thought, well, but if that very basic thing looks fun, what if I could make it better? So that's kind of been my focus of late, is I think PvP is in a really good state. What I'm working on right now is making that PvE part stand up on its own next to it, so it's not just a little side thing, it actually functions as a mode on its own as well.
But what are you actually working on?
So to be more specific, what I've recently built out is a modifier system for the game where I think you can think of them as perks essentially. So for the PvE, that means as you play through the waves of enemies, you'll get to pick little modifiers for your run, and that will hopefully add more variety, like longer particle blades, slow motion on kills, and more ammo, stuff like that. Now, the cool stuff with the way I'm making that in my mind is I can now take these modifiers from the PvE, and those now can go into PvP as well as settings. So it's not like I'm just working on the PvE, both of those are benefiting. Same thing with the maps, I'm hoping to share as many maps as possible between the two modes. Same thing with the weapons. The only thing that's like really mostly is going to be specific for the PvE is going to be the AI enemies. Now I could probably pull them into PvP in some degree. It's just not going to be that centric for it's still like mostly PvE stuff. Yeah.
When is the next update?
Right, so the next update, yeah, I get asked that a lot. It's been a bit. So I don't have an exact answer for you. One thing I can say, it's not going to be in August. And I could give you a hint that you should probably pay attention during September and October. Probably earlier than later, but no promises. Just I'd say, if you're interested, keep an eye on my social media. Regards to that update, I do want to also add that this is probably not going to be an update in the same way that the other ones have been. I am actually working on something more resembling a Steam demo. So if that, and I think I could actually say once that goes through, I am probably going to pull those versions from Itch and Game Jolt and just put everything on. It's just going to be the Steam demo, and that's just going to be the thing that is there. So if you are one of those people that really like those, that have the older versions, do download them and back them up for yourself so they're available. Yeah.
When is the release date?
Right, the release date. I don't know. Probably not this year, right? I don't think there's much benefit for me to try and guess where I'm going to release it, because that's just going to lead me to, one, stressing out, two, apologizing later when I don't hit that.
What game modes?
In terms of game modes that are planned, I am thinking right now I want to stick to those two core ones. I'm not opposed to maybe eventually adding something extra, but current plan is just you have local PvP mode with all the with a lot of config options for it, like you can pick the weapons which you want to use, the maps, the modifiers, all that, and you have the PvE mode, which is more like a very light roguelite kind of thing where you do your runs and try and beat waves of AI enemies with modifiers and all that, and it's probably repeatable in higher difficulties.
What enemies are coming next?
Right, in terms of enemies, we are currently very lacking, right? We only have the wasp and the little rolly thing. The rolly thing is probably going to be remade because it's very buggy. But in terms of like actual new enemies, I think we need something ranged. I think we need some a little one like that's an entry level easier enemy for the people that are just literally just learning the controls. But also, don't worry, I want also more difficult enemies eventually.
Are you going to make a tutorial?
So probably not sure on that one. I think I just need to wait for the game to be more in a more something more resembling a full game to figure out if I'll need tutorials per se. I don't actually like tutorials in their basic form. I think they're clunky. I hate when someone gives me specific instructions of do things this one way and follow these steps, and it's just always really boring. So instead, what I would like to just give players a playground, and you can try things out. Maybe there's some controls on the wall, but realistically you try things out, experiment, and learn. I think that adds a bit more discovery, a bit more exploration, you know. Now, some things in the game might turn out that they need a tutorial though. Like, people get confused how the web works right now, for example. I might try and solve that in some other way, but it could very well be I just need a tutorial for it. People get confused that there's recall, that you can call back weapons that you picked up. Might need a tutorial, might also need to just introduce it in some different way, where it's just more intuitive. Well, we'll see. Finally, there is a thing I am super happy to announce. I finally have someone working on the music for the game. It's an artist by the name Professor Kliq. We've been working together for a little bit now. We have one almost complete track and one is well in progress. And I'm actually really excited in how they are turning out. I think they're going to add a lot to the game, the rhythm, the energy, all of that. How I ended up working with this specific artist is actually interesting, because as you're putting out like game dev content on social media, there are a lot of composers that approach you, and a lot of them are actually quite talented. There seems to be a lot of competition in that market. And honestly, I was super honored that a lot of people even tried making like little pitches for SpiderHeck music from me. But I'm very picky with what I'm going for, and a lot of them, even if they were kind of actually well made, I just wasn't the specific feel I was going for. And eventually, the cool thing more of an obvious thing I realized was I am giving every one of these artists like a little playlist of music that I like, and that I'm like, SpiderHeck should sound something like this. The one thing I hadn't thought about was look at that list and look which artist is there the most and just message them. And yeah, turns out he was super excited to work on it. His links, like SoundCloud, Spotify, is going to be down below in the description. Do check them out. He has some cool music. His song is actually the one I'm using in the current Steam trailer. Yeah, I'll probably let some of it play right now. So yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in on this. Hopefully, I'll make another one of these at some point. I would like to promise it sooner, but realistically, I don't know.